is Naomi Nakamura. Well, I'm a third-generation San Franciscan, also a member of AFSCME 3299, and what we're calling for is the police, the POA, to step aside and stop supporting bad police officers that are ruining our community. And we're asking to defund the police. And what I mean by that is to allocate more funding for mental health, for social workers, because I'm sure a lot of the police officers are overwhelmed by these calls where they're not trained to adequately handle people that are having mental breakdowns or episodes, and that's what we're out here for. We want the police union to step aside and to stop obstructing the systemic change that we're calling for in the police department.
And what is the role of POA?
The role of the POA, I believe that they're a union supporting police officers, and what's bad is that they're supporting bad police officers. And that's not what we're supposed to do. As union members, as the union, we're calling for the end of that, because we wouldn't want any bad police officers on the street still working.
And are you faced with budget cuts too?
What we're calling for is really the allocation of police funds. Stop militarizing putting all this money towards militarizing police forces. What we are calling for is allocating those funds towards other sources that will help the mentally ill people that are on the streets. Social workers, mental health workers. That would be a smarter way to deal with the problems that we're facing.
Union members! Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming down here and speaking on such an important issue. You coming here means that you're standing in solidarity, not just of black lives, not just of brown lives, but every life here in this country. I want you guys to remember that blue silence equals what? Police violence. So say it with me. Blue silence, police violence. Blue silence, police violence. Come on.
Blue silence, police violence.
Blue silence, police violence.
Blue silence, police violence.
Every time the union allows a police officer to commit a crime and not have to pay for that crime, they are now letting you know that your life does not matter. My name is Michelle Cody, and I am a teacher and I am a member of the United Educators of San Francisco. Every day I go inside the classroom and I educate my students not just about the academics, but that let them know that their lives matter. I work in the Bayview, which is full of black and brown beautiful babies, and they need to see somebody to come to work every day and show up and let them know that they're amazing. Let me explain something to you why I'm here. A couple of years ago, I was in the car with my son and my mom, and it was late at night, and we're driving on the freeway, coming from Westlake. And I don't know what was going on, but the police rang their little alarm behind me, the beep, 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 beep. And you guys, my heart stopped. At that moment, I told my son, do not move. Do not say anything. Keep your head forward. We just want to get through this as soon as possible. Because I've seen too many stories of people being pulled over by the police and not making it out. And you know what? They don't care. They don't care that I'm a college-educated woman. They don't care that I'm a teacher educating students. Because when people see me, they see a black woman and they see a threat. And I had to let my black son know that if we wanted to get out of this situation, we needed to be compliant. And we need to make the police officers feel comfortable. Ain't that crazy? Yeah. Me as a citizen, I have to make the police officer feel safe so that he doesn't decide, or she doesn't decide to end my life. And when you go to the hospital, do you have to make your doctor feel comfortable? No. You do what you need so the doctor can heal you. As a classroom teacher, my kids don't need to make me learn. I'm here to help support. Your job is to keep me safe. And if you can't keep me safe, you don't need to have your job. All right? Okay, so that's what we're here. We're here to ask for reform. We're here to ask for accountability. We're here to make sure that the police officers know, the police officers' unions know, we're not taking this anymore. Unions are here to support their members, but unions are not here to make sure that their members commit crime. accountable, all right? Because blue silence is police violence. All right, so first of all, we have a couple units here. We have ATFA 2121, give it up. We have AFSCME 3299. We have CFA here. And we have UESF here. Woo! And we're going to start this program off because they all have a story that they want to share. And so I want you guys to encourage them to speak their truth. I want you to encourage them to live in what they need to live, because at the end of the day, we need to hold people accountable, all right? And that's what we're here to do. So first off, we're going to bring up Beatriz Herrera. She's here from AFT 2121. She is a faculty member of City College, and she is a member. She was also the teacher of Sean and his sister, who was killed by the Vallejo police earlier in June.
Hello everyone, my name is Beatriz Herrera. I'm an instructor at City College in the Latin American and Latino Studies Department. I'm also an executive member of the board of AFT 2121. I was both Sean and Michelle Monterosa's teacher at CCSF. Sean Monterosa was killed by the Vallejo PD 7 weeks ago, and just 3 days ago on Friday, it was discovered that a member of the Vallejo Police Officers Association was responsible for the destruction of evidence, the police windshield that was shot through to kill Sean. He has been put on administrative leave. A week ago, I was on a call with Sean's sisters. Right now, Michelle Monterosa has the weight of the world on her shoulders. She asked me for advice on what to do as she navigated her new fully online courses at the school she was supposed to transfer to this fall, having graduated in Latin American and Latino Studies at City College. Michelle is currently mourning her brother, leading a fight to hold police accountable in 2 cities, San Francisco and Vallejo, supporting her little sister, taking care of her immigrant parents, fundraising for funeral expenses, and holding press conferences with reporters almost daily in English and Spanish. Unfortunately, this is the grind and grit required of young people of color to survive and succeed in our society. We live in an unfair world where the brunt of social inequality, including police violence, falls on communities of color to resolve. We are both the victims and the expected healers of our own oppression. Sean Monterosa was powerful, kind, beautiful, and hardworking. But even if he wasn't, he would still deserve to be alive. If he had been accused of any wrongdoing, he would still deserve the right to remain silent, the right to legal representation, the right to a fair trial without fear of death, especially not at the hands of police. If schools were funded like the police officers associations have been for decades, perhaps Sean would be here today with the families and the educators, teachers, counselors, librarians, and union leaders that actually try to protect and serve him. Out of respect for the family and for all of the families killed and the victims of police brutality, including students like my student, Sean Monterosa, I ask that you kneel today. I'm going to kneel too. We kneel for Black and brown communities, people with disabilities, people without homes, and queer and trans people who are often targeted by a racist policing system. I kneel not just for Sean, but as an accomplice in the Black Lives Matter movement. We are here for those who cannot be here. We are privileged to be able to kneel and stand in protest. Please repeat after me. Sean Monterosa.
Sean Monterosa.
Sean Monterosa.
Sean Monterosa.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Thank you.
Next, we want to bring up AFSCME 3299, and we have 3 people coming to present for them. We have Erek and Anna Schul, who are food service workers at UCSF, and Naomi Nakamura, who is a pharmacy tech. Come on up, ladies.
Hi everyone, I'm a UC worker at Parnassus, and I'm a food service worker, right on for the food service worker and the people that serve everyone here and everybody up here. I'm here today. The time for us is to unite in saying enough is enough, and we must all ensure that another black person will never ever die again from police violence at the hands of officers who took the oath to protect and serve the public. That's all of us. Black lives matter, and we all matter. Yes!
Hi, I'm Erek, and I guess I'm going to talk about the spending of the police department. Hi, I'm Erek, and I think I'll be speaking about the money that the police spend per year. San Francisco spends more than $700 million on police per year, and that number has gone up significantly each year of the last decade per capita. San Francisco spends more on policing than most major cities, including New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Seattle. At the same time, education spending per capita is half or less than of other major cities. Additionally, it is written into the charter that the city is required to staff outdated numbers of police officers at all times, directing spending toward the resource we need. The labor movement fights for the common good. We all want people, regardless of the color, to feel safe in their skin. Police Association needs to get in line with the vision or should be ejected from our labor federation. That's all I have to say.
Hi, I'm Naomi Nakamura. I'm a pharmacy technician at UCSF Medical Center. I'm a native of San Francisco, 3rd generation San Franciscan, and also union member of AFSCME 3299. And what we're calling for is, as a union member, for the POA to stop supporting bad police officers, because we will not have systemic change unless the police force is free of bad officers. And we should be, when I say defunding the police, I mean allocating funds towards mental health workers, towards social workers, because that is what's really going to change. We shouldn't burden the police force with social calls for mental health checks, because I'm sure that's not what they are trained to do. In conclusion, we really need to concentrate, instead of using police funds to militarize them and to create havoc and more violence in our communities, we really need to spend that money towards healing the community, to providing a bridge, a communication between the police force and the community. That is the only way we are really going to change what's going on here and stopping police violence against all members of our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We just heard them talk about how the police budget in San Francisco is $700 million. And yet we don't put that same amount of money into our education system. And that seems extremely backwards. We're going to bring up first of all, I just want to give us all a round of applause, because we want them to hear the thunder of our roar. So can everybody please clap your hands and make some noise so they can hear that we're out here. They need to know that we're out here. All right, so we're going to have our next one from CFA, Mark Allen Davis. He is an elected officer of CFA. He is also a faculty member in Africana Studies at San Francisco State University.
Hey, what's up? Black Lives Matter. So my name is Mark Allen Davis. I'm a professor of Africana Studies at San Francisco State University at the College of Ethnic Studies. I wanted to say, add to the budget of the police department in 2019-2020 was $747 million. I don't know what the new budget states, but I'm sure it has increased exponentially. My recent experiences with the police I cannot directly talk about, but there is a large connection between a very huge and well-connected positions held between the San Francisco Police Department and UCSF, as well as that's my biggest concern, is that there's an unknown partnership between these institutions. When a university professor, a black university professor, visits his college with his child on a Sunday afternoon, goes into the office and gets policed, he can't even enter his own office because he doesn't have identification, and is arrested while his child in the car and taken away while his daughter's still in the car, that is really unforgiving. The police are so interconnected into all of our institutions that they provide and create, provides and creates such pressure and trauma. The police budget should be, part of that police budget should be, it needs an enema, first of all. The police department needs an enema, because what happens is that with that money that they create a militaristic environment for students, especially black students, the students of color that do want to come into San Francisco, and they do want to take classes in ethnic studies, and they do want to learn, and they do want to train, and they do want to be educated, but there's always this ingrained and ever-increasing fear that no matter what happens to them, walking down the street, walking across campus, students, transgender black students have been policed and then left to not be heard from, because their efforts to speak out against anything that happens to them is not, no justice is applied to them. So there's this terror in going, well, why do I go to school or just get a job? Do I go to school or just get a job? It's impossible to determine what's going to happen to them, and that should not be. Training for police officers, the enema aspect of it to me is training people, communities, to police themselves, to honor their communities by being trained. Use that money and use that funding to train the communities. The partnerships that can be developed is more important than the policing individuals where they're terrified of going anywhere. So I say, please, on behalf of the California Faculty Association and the Executive Board and all of our 1,800 faculty members, I say, please defund the police, dissect it, take care of it, look at it, and provide the community with the safety and service that it needs and deserves. San Francisco is an amazing city. It's famous all over the world. And now I think that myth has become so burdens us so much that we can't do what's right. The police don't know what's going on with the people of their community. So thank you very much.
Situation very gung-ho, and usually it turns out pretty bad. And I want to bring an end to that and maybe take some of their funding and help out with being more aware of people with mental illness and not so fast to shoot.
Got it. So obviously everybody here is thinking, what? No police? Can you kind of explain what this really is?
Okay, we're not saying no police. Okay, that's not what we're saying. We're saying they could take some of their funding that they're using on all these military type weapons. Then who are you going to shoot and use them on anyway? When you can bring it in and maybe teach them more how to deal with people and their mental problems, and just people in general, and not being so aggressive and taking everybody like they're the worst criminal in the world. And when I say everybody, I mean black people.
Do you have any personal stories, having personal experience that family members you want to share?
Sure. I was just sharing with her, my son, when he was like 8 years old, he was teased a bit in school. So when these three boys was teasing him and he finally fought them back, the police arrested my son, they read him his rights, they put handcuffs on him. But mind you, I was sick myself at the time. I had lupus. Nobody contacted me. I had to get out of my sick bed and go raise hell because you put handcuffs on my 8-year-old boy. And that was really bad for him, and he was definitely upset by it, and it took him a while to feel comfortable, even when he just saw a police officer. You know, so that's, you know, one of my examples.
So what do you think about the POA? Why the POA?
The POA because I feel like they know where the money is going and where it should be going. And it shouldn't be going into more weapons and more, like I said, military style weapons. It's unnecessary for the streets. Who are we going to blow up here?
They want to use tasers?
Well, they also have large vehicles. There should be in a war in Iraq. Why is it here? You know, they have these things they use to fight and, you know, control the situation, and then it gets out of hand. You saw what happened in Oakland. You know, it gets out of hand anyway. So I don't know what they think these, when they put money into these weapons and things, is it discouraging them to use them, or does it make you more than likely want to use it? If you have something sitting there for months and months, will you not use it?
Why are you here in front of the POA?
Yeah, because of the defund for the police. Because right now, it's really unfair for everybody that they give a lot of money for the police right now, and we really want to stop the racism. Stop the racism. You know, right now it's ongoing, and we really just want to stop on that, and we're fighting for that. All the labor right now, we are also affected for that. We are part of the hospitality people. We are all janitors. And we really deserve to receive for that fund for the San Francisco given for all the police, and that is really unfair. Really unfair, and also the treatment that we want to change. You know, we want to stop the racism right now. It's really injustice. That's all.
What's your name?
I am Agnes Castro.
Where do you work?
I'm working at the UESF. At the hospitality department.
They're laying off people now? What do you think
Yes,
about the layoff?
yes. Right now, they are planning to lay off people, 10% of our people. It's really unfair that the hospitality is their target. Not only hospitality, some people, it's easy for them now to lay off people. You know, I really don't know, and that is really, we really want them to stop also the management to think about our families. You know, in this time of pandemic, it's really unfair for those people who are laid off right now. And we need work to earn for a living, for our family. So that is the really one thing that I am fighting for the layoff people in UCSF. I just hope that the management think about that. Think about our health, think about our family. That's really important matters for us. That's all.
How long have you worked for UC?
I've been working for almost 10 years already. So I am here to support. And we don't want to happen that to all of us. You know, we really want to support the people who are suffering right now. Especially now in pandemic time. There's a lot of people who don't work. How can we live? You know, we really need to work to earn for a living. For our children. This is really matters most, that we need to think about that. We really need a fair treatment for all of us.
Standing for justice and standing here to make sure that all people's rights, Black Lives Matter, Indigenous folks' lives matter, transgender folks matter, LGBTQ lives matter, brown lives matter. Everyone should have the right to wake up in the morning and live their best lives.
Michelle, thank you all for being here today. My name is Annabelle Ibanez, and I'm the political director with United Educators of San Francisco. I'm also a classified employee. I am the family liaison on release time from BVHM working for the union. And I'm here to stand in solidarity with all our brothers and sisters that are calling for police accountability. What that means is basically defunding the police to ensure that funds comes to our schools. We represent over 6,500
teachers, and para-educators, providing services to over 55,000 students here in San Francisco. And historically, education continues to be underfunded. Funds coming from the police to education will allow us to provide better and quality educations to our students. And at the same time, we need to stop the school pipe to prison, because it has to stop with our institutions. And this is why we need to be able to say to the police officers associations, it starts with you when you recognize the racism that exists within your own union. We call on you to recognize and dismantle and uproot your institution to ensure that your members will no longer commit crimes and go without serving any prison time when they kill our brothers and sisters and when they target black and brown. Enough is enough. So we're here to say to the Police Officers Association that they must uproot their system and acknowledge and work with the community and work with us, because we will work with them when they acknowledge their racism, they acknowledge their sexism, and they understand that we need to work together to make our communities better. Thank you so much.
Nothing like an educator to show some fire. All we're asking for you guys to do is to recognize your bad apples and get rid of them. All right, our next speaker coming up is Joe Grendel. He is from SEIU USWW. He's an elected officer. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, one and all. Black Lives Matter! All lives matter! So I work at SFO. I'm a native San Franciscan, and really I only came here today because as a native San Franciscan, anytime anything happens in the city, we should all be part of it. Especially with stuff going bad, we need to know about it, and we need to fix it. Yeah, I think okay. If things go bad, we need to fix it. And here we are trying. And everybody else here is also doing the same thing, and all the organizations that are here are trying that. You know, I work at the airport, and we've got all kinds of stuff going wrong there, and everything reflects back to here because the airport is part of San Francisco, and San Francisco is my home, and we need to make things right. And I'm really happy to see everybody out here doing something.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here to stand against police violence. And there's a young woman here, well, she's no longer with us, Breonna Taylor, who was doing the most basic thing in the world, sleeping in her bed. Not only was she murdered by the police, there is no justice for Breonna Taylor. There's still no justice for Breonna Taylor. I want to do one more time. We need to make some noise. I want everybody to turn, and I want you guys to shout, right? We're going to shout, blue silence, police violence. And we're going to shout it 4 times. And we're going to shout it from the bottom of our diaphragm. I teach middle school, and my babies are loud. And I need you guys to be loud too, because I want them to hear it in that building. They need to know that we are here, and we are asking for demands, and we want justice. So again, we're going to say, blue silence, police violence 3 times. Blue silence, police violence. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming out here and standing in solidarity. Not just as a black woman, I thank you because, let me tell you, every day I walk out of my house is a revolutionary act. Because I don't know if I'm going to lose my life at the hands of the police, and that is crazy. When I walked in here, when I came down here today, I told my mom, I said, listen, depending on how it goes down today, you might get a phone call from the police, and I might be in jail. And you know what? That is okay. Because the great John Lewis said, it is okay to go to jail. Because good, what is it, good trouble? Good trouble is how we move this country to make better decisions. Good trouble is what we need to do to show people that we're holding accountable. Because at the end of the day, our babies, these young children that have not been born yet, should not have to experience the world that we experience today. We are doing the work right now so that your children, your children's children, your children's children's children can walk the street in solidarity with the police officers. Your children can sit here and say, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to be whatever I want to be. Why? Because no one's telling me I don't deserve it. All right? It is your job. If you're able to walk through your door, if you have any privilege, it's your time to put your privilege on the table and use your privilege to move us forward as a country. Do you understand? If you don't have anything that you have to worry about, start to put your body on the line. Because it's your duty to make sure that your brother and sister in this country can live their best life. Before you go, we have a mural that's been painted over here. If you have a couple minutes, get on the ground and let's paint these names. These names need to be a constant reminder to everyone that their life did not matter to them. Okay? Their life did not matter, and that is not okay. Thank you again for coming. Thank you to the press for coming. I hope you tell our story with truth, with integrity, and I hope you tell our stories so that everyone can hear that we are not playing and we mean business. To all the union organizations, the unions built this country, the unions make this country go, and it's our job to let these fools know we ain't doing it no more. All right? One more